Okay, by now you have either downloaded or received a CD that has the BBQ Log software in it. On the CD is only the setup file, so when you insert it, you'll probably get it pop up where it shows this is on the disk, or you might have to just go to My Computer and then find the DVD that it is, and you see it says BBQ Log. Open it and then double click on the install package, and it will go ahead and install it for you. It takes a little bit of time as it first gets going, but it will go in. Just be patient. Sometimes it can take up to a minute. Here we get the welcome screen. We're going to hit next. Just go ahead and let it default where it wants to go. And then it'll go to where it'll install all the needed files that are necessary. This, of course, will take a little bit of time. As it says up there in the setup box, this may take a few minutes. Then of course now it says we're finished, and we can close this, and we could actually take that link out, and you'll notice this is the icon for the pellet smoking BBQ log. So go ahead and double click on it. The first time it opens it takes longer because it's going to register all the components. And all it's really doing is getting all the files together so that they work. Now the very first time it comes up, it says please enter your user's name. It will pick whatever the user's name is from your computer. If you wanted to change it, you can, but it's never going to come up anywhere again. So you just click OK, and then it'll open. Now as we're looking at this screen, one of the things you got to notice, you see right here it says exit. I'm going to go ahead and exit. And the reason I want to do that is I want to show that the next time we open this, when we double click it, it's going to pop right open and we'll be done. But that's how you go ahead and install it, and in the following videos we'll show you how to go through it all. Here we're going to go over the prefs file, which is not a big thing, but it's just something that we do have. If you notice right here where it says BBQ User 1, this is a field that we really, although it looks identified, it's one that you can customize for your own. It does have its own drop-down value list, and you notice we started with BBQ User and I added Hickory, Oak, Other, but you guys could go in there and I could take the wood type out, and then when we went back in there we could re-identify it. We can even take the BBQ User out if you want to too. So whatever you find you need for one field, we have that there. But how do you change the name of that? Well, here's where we go over to the pref. So we go up here to the layout, down here to the prefs file, and you'll notice right here this little green one. You see where it says BBQ User? Let's change this one right now to where it just says smoke wood. So if you were using a special chunk of wood or something in the smoker, or if you had something different, you would have it there. Now if you notice when we go back to the main screen, you notice now this says smoked wood, and it'll be that way all the time. All that field is just the identifier. But let's go back to the prefs file. You notice here we had the Big Papa's pellet smoking. By the way, if you click on either one of those, it'll go to the appropriate site. But over here on prefs you can see we have the logo field, and if you wanted to you could change it and personalize it. Just know that it should be about the same size as what we have here. The other thing where we have this reset the log numbers, not real important right now, but later on as we make improvements for the program, you will be importing all the data from your previous program into the new program, and before you go to use that and write a log, you need to reset the numbers, because otherwise a new program would always start on log number 1, and by clicking on this after you've imported all your previous logs, it sorts your logs, ascending from number 1 to number 200, 300, whatever, figures what's the highest number, and then automatically will make the new log one number higher. So when you click on this, it'll just go ahead and redo it. Now clicking on it doesn't hurt nothing, because all it does is sort your logs and looks at it. But it's just important when we do updates to the program, we'll have better, more inclusive video, but that's what that button is there for. It's also real nice if you're maybe sharing logs with different guys and importing it. That way you guys can keep all your your numbers the way you want it on that. Okay, this is the screen that shows up when you first open the BBQ log. One of the things that you want to do is going to be to print out these blank worksheets, because this is what you're probably going to use during your cook. So if you're just pressing the button here, of course it's going to tell you in the next box is where you'll select your printer and how many copies. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to go ahead and make a PDF copy of this, but I could go through here and select a printer and actually have them physically print out. And here I could say how many copies I want. It's important that it says pages from 1 to 1. This just helps with various printers. Then I'm going to hit OK. And on this it's going to ask me where to put the log file, and I'm going to tell it go ahead and put it on the desktop. And there's one there from me previously trying this, so I'll hit yes. But if you have it hooked to a printer, it'll just print out your blank worksheets. Now if you come up here, you see where it says layout. We're on the BBQ log layout, which is the main layout. And you can see that there is a preference layout, a big photo layout, worksheet paper, which this is what we just printed out. From this one layout, there's nothing you can do. It's just here so that when you go to print it, it'll print out fine. But if you find that you've filled out everything you need to do on this form when you cooked, and you'd like to have the same type of form to put it in when you go back to enter it in your computer, you can go down here to Worksheet Computer, and you'll notice then we have all the logs ready right there. Now everything that's on this screen is also on the main screen. It's just that the main screen is made in the dimensions of a normal laptop screen. So to start a new cook or a new log, you just go up here and hit New Log, or it'd be Control N or Option N on a Mac. You can see that our log number changed to 3, and if we hit it again, it would change to 4, and so forth. Every time you do one, it'll always change the number up because we want it to be unique so we can search them later on. And the date, you could come in here and type your own date, or if you click on this little icon, it'll let you choose whatever date it is on off the calendar. And then drop down menu, you could pick out what cooker you had. Now if you notice on these drop down menus, they all have Other and Edit. If you go to Other, it'll actually just let you come in here and type whatever you want. If you go to Edit, you could go in here, and after the Bradley, you see where the cursor is, you want to hit enter so that the cursor's down here, and then from here you could put in a different type of grill. Here we'll put in an Evil Stick Burner, and then hit OK. And by doing it that way, you see it'll always be in the list so that you can select it. Now if you cooked on, if this cook, let's say you were doing 2 turkeys and you're doing it on 2 separate grills at the same time, and you want to just have one print out of it, you could hold the shift key, and if I hold the proper shift key when I'm doing this, you'll notice now that both the Mac and the Memphis are selected. Now you notice we have a drop down here: beef, chicken, pork, fish, and of course you could go and edit it and put turkey and whatever else you want. And you'll notice we have all these drop downs we go through. Contest, you type in. Now you notice that I typed in Saugus 2010. Saugus is the city I live in, and the underline shows that it is misspelled. Well, if you right click on that, it'll get you suggested spellings, or if you know that it's spelt right, you can just tell it, learn that that's a word we're going to use from now on. As you can see, you'll go through all of this, fill it all out. Procedure is how you did it, or basically your recipe. So if you're doing a cook, if you fill all of this out, you could recall it and use it as a recipe. The chef is the same thing. You can go in there, edit the numbers. This is mainly like for a cooking team. You'd have this time on, time off, and I think a lot of this stuff is pretty much self-explanatory. This is where the pictures are. If you right click on here, you can insert a picture, and where you're going to want to find that is you want to really try to keep this in the where the program files are. So we'll just go over here. It's in the Jim's barbecue folder, by the way, guys. Pellet smoking, and then you see here how we have barbecue images. Now after you do this a couple times, it'll know to go to that folder the first time. And now it's put it in there. Here you could add a comment to it, whatever you might want to do. It's just an icon. Now if you scroll down here, we could click and put another photo in, and you can just keep putting photos in. Every time you put one in, it'll let you go down a little further. Now if you want to look at those photos in the larger size, of course that's what the big photo button is for, and then you can see it here, there, and it's all of this over here is just basic, so you can kind of reference as you go back. And then back to the big photo, hit that and come back to the normal one. But that's pretty much all you have to do, and if you do this for every cook, eventually, if you were looking for everything you had ever cooked on a Mac, you would just click the Find button. It makes all these fields active, every one of them. So I could go up here to the cooker and say I want to see everything I cooked on the Mac, and then once I pick what I want, I just hit the Enter key, and you notice it found only one, of course, just the one that we did. But if we had 16 cooks on the Mac out of 300, it would come up with all those 16 cooks, which is real handy when you might be going back through all your records and you want to find only your brisket cooks. You know, you could do the same type of thing where and you can narrow it down. You could say I only want cooks that cooked beef on a Mac, and I'm going to click select because I know it won't come up, and when I hit enter, it'll say you never cooked beef on a Mac that was select only. So I could modify it and say, well, was it choice? And then it would bring it up. This is going to be the real advantage to doing this with your BBQ Log software, is instead of rustling through all the paper, you're going to be able to go through, easily search them out, and get them all done.